And welcome back to the channel. Today I kind of had like a little thought here, a little idea, and well, not an idea, but like I was trolling around the internet the other night and then talking to a few buddies of mine, and I came across this website called Swap a Lease, and this website, I'm pretty sure a lot of you know about this. It's a website where people are trying to get out of leases, or sometimes you get a good deal on a lease that, for whatever reason, the person needs to get rid of the car. And then some of them also, within that websites or other websites, they have people that take over car payments and all that kind of other stuff. I'm going to focus in on the Charger Challengers just because I got a Challenger, and this website, this channel is sort of dedicated to the Challenger Charger since I got one. But the main question is this: that should I modify a car that's a leased or making payments on a car? And the short answer is no on a leased car, definitely on a leased car. And everybody's in a different financial situation and mind thought or anything along those lines. But to back it up a little bit, I was looking at the prices or the monthly payments on these cars, and I'll get back into why you shouldn't modify the car. On some of these leases or the deals that I'm seeing on there for the mileage, maybe I think it's like 10 or 12,000 miles, and they got X amount of miles left on the car, but I'm looking at the car payments, and some of these guys are paying upwards of $400 and something a month. Now, you gotta remember price point. For a $35,000 to $40,000 car and again, this is a lease, and I'll go back into the finance lane and go, your payment should be around low 300s to maybe 370, depending on your credit. Each is going to be different state, taxes, registration fees, all that kind of stuff. And you should never, ever put a lot of money down on a lease car, because I understand you want to put your payments down, but for a lease car, is that if you put in money into that car and that car is a total loss, even with the gap insurance, you lose. You lose whatever money you put down payment on it, because it's not your car. You're just paying down the principal on it. You don't get that money back. There's no refund check on that. So that's what I'm saying, is that you have to understand that maybe like $2,000 down, to pay for taxes and maybe first month payment on the car, and to bring some of that down, so you're not financing taxes and other stuff, registration fees, which is kind of stupid. You always should at least cover the taxes and registration fees. Never put out interest on that shit. But what I was seeing too is that these guys are trying to get rid of these leases, and these cars have been modified. Aftermarket rims, exhaust systems, intake manifold. Cold air intake systems. You see, like, they painted the interior trims and all this other shit on the car. And I'm like, what? Really? A lease car? I can understand, maybe, I could understand possibly an exhaust, just to, liven, to make the car sound a little bit better. But a couple $1,000s worth of parts on a car, on a semi-stock car, and then they're trying to get rid of the lease. To me, that doesn't entice a person like me. I would never buy a car like that. I would never buy a modified car like that. To me, that tells me there's a young kid in the car, and he's beating the snot out of the car. He doesn't care about the car, and then realized he bought a car that he probably couldn't afford in the first place. But then, to me, I'm thinking, well, this person's kind of stupid, because all that money that they put into the car, they could have made payments on the car, and then they wouldn't be in the position that they're in now. So, you guys hear me what I'm saying? Now, for a financed car, that's a kind of a double-edged sword. Yeah, you want to enjoy the car. It's going to be your car in 4, 5, 7 years, depending on your loan and your rate. But again, wouldn't that money be spent good paying the car off first, then to be putting to heavily modify a car that you're making payments on? You know what I mean? And I understand people say, oh, well, I want to enjoy the car while I have it. I don't care. I'm making payments on it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But also see on the other side, too, is that people whipping out their credit cards and paying for parts on the credit cards and paying at a high interest rate on their credit card. So you're making two payments. You're making a payment on your credit card, making a payment on your car. That doesn't make any financial sense. If you really hunker down, in some cases, you can pay the car off in a couple of years and then modify the car. But enjoy the car the way it is. And then I back up and I said, wow, I saw a lease payment on an SXT. Guy was paying $450 a month for an SXT. Now, I'm not bashing V6 guys, but the cars are substantially lower than a Scat Pack, than an RT Plus car, and the guy's paying $450. So I'm thinking, like, God, man, he's paying $450 a month for this car. It's got, this other car had aftermarket wheels on. I think it had Hellcat wheels on there and tires. That's like, I don't know, like $2,000, $1,500, depending on if it's what type of Chinesium tire he's using and a rim. And he had an aftermarket exhaust. And what else did he have on the car? I think he had some stripes on the side, like some RT stripes or something like that. It was an SXT, he had RT stripes on the car. And I'm thinking, okay, you know, to me, when you're financing a car and leasing a car, and if you don't know where that car is going to be, and if you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years from now, or whatever it is, it's a losing battle. Anytime you modify a car, the value of the car tanks. In most cases, because for guys like me, I am not going to buy a modified car. I am not going to spend top dollar on a modified car. I would spend top dollar on a stock, completely unmolested car, and then I'll modify the car. Because then I know where the car came from and how it was taken care of, or sort of I can get a gauge of what the car. But if you start modifying a car and putting parts on a car, and then you try to sell the car, it's a losing battle. So that's what I'm saying, is that if you're going to trade that car in, if you're still financing and you're upside down the car, you get a lease on the car, I don't know. Think about it, guys. I mean, what's your thought? I still can't get over some of the deals that these people are getting ripped off on these cars and not thinking it through and not saying, okay, well, I don't know, maybe go to another dealership. Go to a freaking, you can go lease a car online these days. You don't even have to go to the dealership. You can actually go on apps that you can order the car, get the car specifically the way you wanted, and then pick it up at a dealership or go someplace else where the car will be there. There's so many dealerships out there, so many places you can go to buy a car these days. I don't understand why these people would want to get bent over for a car, What's your thoughts? Take care.